Hello folks, it is time for some more hobby nightmares. I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you had a good weekend. If you like what I do, please like the video. It does wonders for my channel and making sure that the algorithm, the YouTube gods look our way and send more people our way to look at our videos. It's awesome, I love it, and let's spread the love and get it out there to more people, shall we? Subscribe too, if you want to. You know, I'm always here doing hobby nightmares and other videos. We're doing one tomorrow, I think, with Outer Circle, which would be really cool. So, stick with me as we jump into our mailbag here with Canuck. And he says, Hi North, long-time listener and first-time hobby nightmarer. Folks on the internet call me Canuck, so you can call me Canuck. I will do, thank you. It all began back in 2001. I was just a young lad moving to a new school in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. He said it first time correctly. Come on, son, come on. I was just a young lad moving to a new school in Moose Jaw. That's such an American backwater. You know, I'm imagining Moose Jaw. You've got like loads of those trees and lovely lakes and things like that. I don't know why. I'm gonna look that up. Sorry, folks. I've got to look up where Moose Jaw is. It's just Moose Jaw in Canada, obviously. Yeah, Saskatchewan. But let's see. I said it twice. Oh. There's no pictures of it. Oh my god, that's a massive moose. Mac the moose. A fiberglass moose standing in Moose Jaw. I've got to show you guys this. I've got to show you guys this. This is crazy. I love it when we do hobby nightmares and they're from these really weird places. Here's Mac the moose, everybody. So there you go. Yeah. Let's jump in. For further context, my father's career meant that we moved around a lot. So I got that army brat experience without the army. Yeah, and you were in 7th grade too, so you weren't very old either. For further context, this led to being the perpetual new guy, as the university I am attending currently for my Bachelor of Education is my 13th school attended in my lifetime. Wow. As I look back at this upbringing, I became a bit of a chameleon, able to blend into any crowd. I was the unique, jock, nerd, artist kid who was never in the in crowd, but was never on the outside looking in. Yeah, you're reminding me of me when I was that age. One day, one of my new friends happened to have a White Dwarf magazine. Being a typical boy, I saw cool pictures and asked to have a look, which he obliged. I had never seen something so cool in my life, and I swore I was going to be a Dark Eldar player. This planted a seed that would take 2 decades to sprout. Moving to the late 2000s, I found a lovely RTS set in the grimdark future called Dawn of War. Ever heard of it? That's gotta be sarcasm. This led to my new beloved, the Emperor's true finest, the Imperial Guard. During this time, Warhammer 40,000 was just a video game to me, and as I grew up, that's all it would be to me for the foreseeable future. This would be a great time for you to enjoy your favourite cool or warm beverage as long as it's Yorkshire tea. Fast forward to the year 2022. I progressed halfway through my degree through 2 years of COVID-19, university on Zoom, and I had been spending many hours at my PC either gaming, studying or working on homework. At this time, my wife had started to feel somewhat neglected with all that was going on, with me being busy either working on school or just gaming with the lads in my Discord community. While I never neglected to do my man stuff, such as household chores, cleaning and cooking, my wife and I had not really spent much time together, and she wished to have something fun to do together. This was starting to become a common gripe, and ask any person in a couple, happy wife equals happy life. Yeah, it is, man, and when they say that, please don't take it as like, you know, you must do this or this. No. Literally, if your woman's happy, and she's, you know, happy with the way you're doing things, and happy with the way that you're treating her, and the family, and what you're killing it, dude, like, everything else becomes so much easier, because you've got somebody there who backs you up. That's the issue. The issue is, you know, if you have a partner who expects all of these things of you and then gives you nothing in return, right? That is a law of diminishing returns. You are literally being washed away by the sea. Eventually, you're gonna fall, and you're gonna have a break, and you'll walk away from the relationship, right? Yeah. Like, with mine, like, it's great. Like, I do all the things I need to do, and she appreciates that, and it's really cool, because she allows me to do whatever I want. I can sit on my PC all day if I want and do some gaming, or I can do some writing for several hours. She doesn't care, because I do all the other stuff. You know, I spend time with her. I take her to do things, you know, and I make sure that she is a high priority in my life. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, good lad. So I suggested we learn something together. A long-lost interest that I had a cursory knowledge of, but never truly discovered. I went to our nearest Warhammer store and picked up the Kill Team starter box with the plastic Death Corps of Krieg and the Orc Commandos. I knew I would love the Guardsmen, and my wife absolutely fell in love with the soccer, football hooligan Orc boys, yeah. I grew up building model cars and aeroplanes, so I got us the supplies needed to put plastic together. We would spend an hour each evening just relaxing with one another, putting our respective forces together until they were all complete. We then went to the Warhammer store, collected some paint, and began bringing our kill teams to life. As we did this, I learned something about myself. I absolutely love this hobby. My wife, on the other hand, painted her orcs and played the starter missions, but quickly left the hobby. She is more of a boggle player, if you catch my drift. I don't, but it's fine. I now had an itch that I could no longer scratch, and this was right when Kill Team Into the Dark launched. This was something I did not just want, I needed it. Since my wife was no longer interested in the hobby that much, I learned of the local Warhammer group and joined it. This was a fun place full of pretty good people who were encouraging for newcomers, and I felt very welcome there. I quickly assembled and painted my freshly recruited Imperial Navy breeches, just in time for our local store's Kill Team narrative campaign. I was in my happy place, learning the game and nuances of the rules and my particular kill team. What I did not know is that within this narrative campaign, all of the Kill Team players from our local competitive scene would also take part in this friendly, quote-unquote, campaign. I met and played against these competitive players, and I never won. I never even came close, but I always had a good time because they would help me with the rules and then give me pointers at the end of the game to help me improve. This led to my final game of Kill Team against an Intercessor Kill Team player we'll call Jennings. Leading up to this game, I had nothing but positive experiences. After this game, I was very close to just keeping my models on the shelf and finding something else to do with my time. During our game, I had made a tactical mistake in my deployment, having a group of my Navy breaches in engage range out in the open. Well, not technically, but with vantage point rules, they became out in the open very quickly. At the beginning of my turning point 1, a large contingent of my breacher team was shot off the table by a souped up intercessor, with Jennings, having been successful in the campaign, his squad had been kitted out with many enhancements that I had no answer to, especially with both my inexperience with the rules and the game. This led to several gotcha moments, and with one Navy breacher remaining, I did the gentlemanly thing and I conceded. Jennings, on the other hand, was not happy with this outcome. He wanted to play it out, as he needed to level up his intercessor squad. With my models being cordless, I picked them up off the table, gathered my rule books, and bid farewell to the store manager, thanking him for the space to play in. I went home with a foul taste in my mouth, both figuratively and literally, since personal hygiene never seems important when there are rookies to the table in a narrative campaign. Up until this point, I had played with gentlemen who would always have said, and I quote, "Hey, you might not want to do that because, you know, unquote." I'm assuming because they would like to have a fun game as well. Well, for Jennings, the fun is shooting the new guy off the table. Well, here's the thing. I often find that players who play that way will, you know, that they'll play video games and they'll only be happy when the video game isn't pushing back. Do you know what I mean? And so they find ways to game the system, which isn't a real game to me. You know, it's doing frame locking and constantly rolling and, you know, all that nonsense, it's not a game to me. You're breaking the game isn't playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very similar mindset. The guys that you were playing against who were saying, hey, you might not want to do that because X, Y, Z, well, those guys actually want the game, they want you to push back against them, to challenge them. Jennings doesn't want to be challenged, right? He wants to break the game in as many ways as he can to get every advantage so there's zero chance of him losing. And that's where he gets his enjoyment. Again, the worst kind of person to play against, in my opinion, and this is why generally I don't attend competitive events, but there we go. Well, the joke is kind of on him. I did things in the correct order. First you get the job, then you get the khakis, then you get the chicks. Then you convince her that Warhammer would be a fun hobby for her to try, and then you get the Warhammer. As a player, I like to play a good game. I do not play with grey plastic if I can avoid it, but I will never judge somebody who does. Yeah, I won't either. I won't either. Generally, I won't play grey plastic, but, you know, it's up to you. I've been told I'm elitist before for doing that. I don't care. Like, I work my ass off at my job, and I still find time to make models. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm literally... I've got a kid, I've got, you know, my missus here, I've got a house, got every, you know, all the things in life that a man could be doing, I'm doing. But I'm still painting models and having fun. Even for an hour a night, I'll paint some models, okay? Like, it's not... layering some undercoat on your models and then inking them and dry brushing them is not difficult. And, you know, you can have a go at me all you want and say, oh, that's so elitist, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You do have time, you refuse to find it. Right? If you can spend the amount of dudes who say to me, that's really elitist, right? You know, I don't have time to paint my models. Okay, so what do you do of an evening? Well, I do some gaming. And, let's just rewind. So you do have time to paint your models. You just choose not to. Alright? Skill issue, mate. Skill issue. As a player, I like to play a good game. I do not play with grey plastic if I can avoid it, but I will never judge somebody who does. Same here. I do not use a rules advantage to defeat an opponent because they don't know it was there. I've played games with my nephews where it's just 4s to hit, 4s to wound, and it's all laughs. Planting that seed that will hopefully grow into a wonderful hobby when they can afford it. Well, thanks for reading North. Cheers, mate. Canuck. Do you know what? I'm the same way. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty much the same way. One of the worst things about 40k, and one of the worst things about gaming in general, is when you come up against somebody and you're not told about a rule, you're not told about how a certain thing that their army does, and all of a sudden they pull it out of nowhere and say, oh, by the way, I'm doing this, you can't do that, you know, or this entire thing that you put. The worst part is, if you're playing 40k and a plan's formulated in your mind, you're like, oh, brilliant, right, and you've got this plan, and then you announce what you're doing to your opponent when you're about to do it, and they say, oh, yeah, I'm playing this stratagem. Well, but yeah, but it's my turn. Yeah, but I can play it whenever I want. Oh, yeah, you can't do that. So, right, okay, back up the models. Like, why am I playing this game? Why am I playing this game that slows things down to a crawl, that seems to be made to irritate? Do you know what I'm saying? It seems to be made to irritate the player. Why would I bother? You know, I just don't understand why I would. I just, yeah, that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, Alan says, hey North, you may call me Alan for anonymity. Thank you for taking the time to read my hobby nightmare. A little bit about myself for context. I've been in the hobby for around 24 years, and I'm currently 29 years old. I'm from the northwestern part of the UK, I'm 6'7" and 230 pounds. Jesus Christ, you're a big boy. What's going on there? I'm an old mosher with long hair and a rather lustrous beard. I also apologise for any typos or grammar mistakes. I'm a bit dyslexic, but I do proofread and try my best to make things coherent and understandable. Well, dude, you're doing well so far. And this is what proofreading does. You know, this is reading lovely, really nicely written. So this was around 2018, and I was working as a relief worker for my local games workshop. The manager was new and had some big shoes to fill, as the previous manager was a true hobby hero. I met the new manager, who we shall call Frank for this story, on his first day as the manager. We hit it off pretty well, despite having the looming presence of his trainer sitting by one of the hobby tables. We shot the breeze, bought some stuff and left. A few months later, he called me asking me to be his relief worker for the upcoming Christmas period. Naturally, I accepted and was excited at the prospect of working for the company I loved since I was a child. Though being a relief worker, you aren't actually working for Games Workshop, you're just an agency they partner with to get the workers they need for the staff in the stores, as I'm sure you are aware of. Yeah, you're not a Games Workshop employee. I had to bollock one of my relief workers online for saying that they work for Games Workshop. Do you know what I mean? Like, number one, if you do work for Games Workshop, don't be online. Don't be online. You're opening yourself up to all the hate in the world. Don't be online. Number two, do not announce that you work for Games Workshop, especially if you're a relief worker, because you're not working for Games Workshop. You're working for your agency. All right? You may wear the T-shirt, but you're not a part of Games Workshop, right? You don't fall underneath their purview. It's not even them who pay you, right? It's the agency that pays you. Anyway, take a drink of Yorkshire's finest, if you please. Thank you very much. Time went on. I did my training and did a few shifts. I have 15 plus years of experience working in retail. Wow, he looked out with you, didn't he? So I consider myself very good at the whole customer service stuff and general shop work. Now, Frank started to get a reputation in the local area for being a bit of a dick. Telling hobbyists off if they ask for advice about anything. A prime example being a customer who asked another about how to dry brush their models. The other customer told him how to do so, to which Frank had a go at the customer, telling them that they should not have done so as he wanted to sell them the Games Workshop painting guide. There was a rule that no Forge World models were allowed to be in store, which I understand is down to each manager's discretion. It is. No, it's not, actually, it's not. Well, at least this is how it works now, is there? I was told, verbatim, do not allow Forge World models to be played within your store. In fact, don't run games in your store at all. But Forge World models are a definite no-no, right? Why? Because you don't sell Forge World at Games Workshop. You sell it online. But you can't buy it at the store. If you can't buy it at the store, don't play with it. If it's not on the shelves, don't play with it. Right? You know? And people would say, well, can't I play Lord of the Rings then? Yeah, of course you can. Ah, but it's not on the shelves. Yes, but I do stock it. It's in the store. It's not on the shelves. It's in the store. And you can buy it on my computer, right? People used to say to me all the time, well, I can't play Old World either, but you let me buy Old World models. Yes, because you can buy them in the store on my computer. You can't buy Forge World on my computer, so you can't play with it in store, right? It just is what it is, man. It's a rule that I was told needed to happen. I would let people in general play with Forge World models if they were a part of a 40k army. So if you came in with like a 40k army with a Mastodon, or a 40k army with, you know, Forge World heads or arms or whatever, or a squad here and there, that's fine. Didn't mind that at all. If you came in with a bloody Titan or something, or like, you know, really expensive Primarch models filling out your... Nah, come on, man. Like, you know, it's a small table, you know. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And in general, I would let Forge World be used in store, as long as it was respectful and it was done under the radar. Do you know what I mean? Like, a one unit here, a vehicle there, that kind of a thing. That's no problem whatsoever. Coming in with an all Forge World army that I don't sell in the store, yeah, no, I just wouldn't, you know. And that's just me. We don't sell it. So, you know, you're told by head office, don't do that. And I got into trouble all the time for doing things that head office didn't want me to do for the betterment of my community. But that's one line I didn't want to cross because they were really draconian with it. They were like really, you know, top down with it. But yeah, it may be up to each manager's discretion now, but back in the day, they'd say it's up to you, but they would also tell you and advise you strongly not to allow it. Which basically means don't allow it, you know? Anyway, moving on. This is important, so make a note of this rule. This drove a lot of customers away, as there was a large community of 30k players in the area, and this was before the plastic kits GW brought out for the big game system, that they were solely available as Forge World models. Yeah, that was my thing. On Thursday nights, I would do Heresy Night in my store. So, yeah, we would have all the Heresy guys in the store, and I would allow all Forge World. All for everything. Bring it in. Thursday night, big boy night. You can come in, play games, and we open until 10 o'clock. People were there. It was great. Everyone loved it, and it went really well. So that's how you play the game with Games Workshop, right? Technically, those aren't store hours. I kept the store open later, so these guys could come in, and they would still buy really cool stuff, like White Dwarfs here, paints there, that kind of thing, to make it worth my while to keep the store open. They're all nice guys. So that's one way to abide by the rules of Games Workshop, but also allow Forge World in the store, right? You do it outside of normal hours. You're burning the candle at both ends as a manager then, but at least you get keeping people happy. There was a girl who used to come in with a bunch of guys regularly. We shall call her Miranda. Now, she was a stereotypical big-titty goth girlfriend that everybody lusted over, and she knew this. She would always get the best hobby spaces with her crew of white knights. She seemed pleasant enough, but again, I tended to talk to her like anybody else, so she didn't really have much to say to me. Now, Frank really liked Miranda, and that was pretty plain to see. She would often call him cute pet names and be quite awkward with physical contact, like stroking his face, grabbing his hand, etc. One day, I was covering the late night gaming shift. I always enjoyed these, as they were more chill and you could get involved with each customer more personally. She brought in a Forge World hag to paint, and whilst I do not agree that with the no Forge World mini rule, it was Frank's store and I was his relief worker, so I told her this and that she knew better, to which she freaked out. All of her cronies jumped in and started to verbally assault myself and Frank. Regardless of my own personal opinions of Frank, at this point we were on bad terms due to other incidents. If there is interest, I will share it with you with the community in another Hobby Nightmare. Yeah, please do. He was not there to defend himself, so I told them they were not to badmouth me and especially Frank whilst he wasn't there, and in my eyes, that is pathetic and toxic. They packed up their stuff and left. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. You're the kind of guy I would want working in my store. Because even if we have a little spat and we're not getting on, you still backed him up. Like, that's my co-worker. Shut your fucking face. Do you know what I mean? Get out. Take your simps and get out. You did the right thing, man. Tea break. Enjoy, brother. Thank you very much. I made Frank aware of this incident, to which he didn't seem too fazed. That in itself was pretty odd to me, but I did what I was meant to do and thought nothing of it. A few weeks later, I was there for the late night gaming as a customer, painting up my Grey Knight, at the time Demon Slayers, standing up. Frank was working that shift, and Miranda and co were also there. I kept to myself with my own friendship group and other regulars of the store. She had her hag again. Hag? What does that mean? Oh, she had her Forge World hag again, okay, to which Frank didn't say anything to her about it. I was keeping my eye on her and her crew, as I knew these people were quite volatile and just pretty shit folk to be around. She went up to the counter, whispered something, and bought Archeon the Ever-Chosen. This was rather suspect, as she was one of those time vampires we all know and love, and rarely bought anything in the store. My gut told me that something wasn't right with this whole situation, so I kept in mind the time and date so I could check things out behind the scenes on my next shift for the store. The next shift comes, and it's a quiet day, only a week or so later. So I decided to check the banking for that particular day of the incident. To those who don't know, during banking, we keep all merchant receipts of transactions as a sort of proof of transaction. So I had a nosy, and I saw at that time and on that date that Archeon the Ever-Chosen was sold with the Games Workshop employee discount. This discount is 50%, and I'm almost certain that this is 100% a sackable offence if an employee was to give their discount to a customer. It is. It is. It is 1000% a sackable offence. You will be sacked quicker than... I don't know. I'm quicker than a quick thing on quick day. You know, you will literally be sacked. There are things... You could smack a customer in the face as a Games Workshop manager, and if you had a good enough reason, you wouldn't be sacked, right? If the reason was good enough, you wouldn't be sacked. You know, you might get a warning, but if they find you abusing your store discount, you are immediately sacked. There is no warning. It's in your contract. You're sacked. You're gone. Right? That's one thing that they hold as sacrosanct. Don't do it if you want to keep your job, because people will find out. You can use your employee discount to buy presents, gifts for friends and family. You are allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. But you need to be doing it in, you know, on the down low, and you need to be doing it not every week. You know what I mean? And not for some bint that you've met at the local store. Do you know what I mean? That's not what it's for. You will get sacked for that. But yeah. I know it was in my previous jobs in retail, you know, a sackable offence. So this girl was a piece of work, overly touchy-feely, had an entourage of guys hoping for a chance to get into her knickers, and she managed to get herself the employee discount of the manager for the model that she wanted. This manager still works at Games Workshop, and again, I will not be disclosing any more information about him than that. I never said anything to anybody in the company about this, as again, despite my own personal problems with the guy, I didn't want the reason he was made unemployed to be me. Whether that was the right thing to do, I'm unsure. Yeah, man, yeah, it's not your hill to die on. You did the right thing. You figured out what was going on. It was shady as fuck, and, you know, you made a mental note of it, and you moved on. Do you know what I mean? I've not seen or heard from Miranda for years at this point, besides sending me nudes on Instagram around the time of this particular incident, which I imagine she did to get under Frank's skin. Alright. Alan, dude, right? No woman sends you nudes out of nowhere. Right? Come on. Come on. Own up to it, man. You were talking to her. Own up to it. She may have been annoying, but, you know, you buckled a bit, you talked to her, you flirted, and she sent you some nudes. Right? We need... come on. Talking to me now. You're not talking to... And, you know, I've done this dance before. Right? You can't... Yeah. I mean, the only... I don't know. Maybe one or two may do it unsolicited if they're mental. I'm talking mental. But the 99% of women out there, they're not sending you unsolicited nudes. There may be a lot of them out there who are very easy, so if you flirt with them a little bit, instant nudes, that's not, you know, that's fine. That happens. But, yeah, you must have said something to her. Come on. These were promptly deleted, and she was blocked on all my social medias. Fair enough. Her crew is still around, and each of them being a different flavour of that guy in other local stores. So I just wanted to know if my actions in this situation were the right ones. It was years ago, now and again. I was a relief worker, and I don't think my word would carry any weight regarding this if I was to contact Games Workshop themselves. No, it would. It would, because they can then look at the... they then look at the till. You know what I mean? They can look at the till remotely and see what's going on. Again, I have a lot of other stories related to our friend Frank and my time as his relief worker. Send them in. I will send these if they are wanted. Yeah, they are. Cheers, North. I've been around since your upload of your own experiences of working for Games Workshop. Wow, man, you're an OG. That was years ago. Keep up the good work. I know that you've helped both me and thousands of other young men and women get through some hard times. Even if there are conflicting opinions sometimes, it's healthy to look at multiple sides of the same argument and remain friendly. Big love, dude. Alan, thank you very much, man. And yeah, I agree on everything you said. Send in those stories about Frank. That'd be really awesome. I love stories like that. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. I think we're doing a 40k rant with Outer Circle, or maybe later on in the week. We will see. But anyway, either way, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.